So after having that selling on Friday, yesterday we came in, we had a gap up, so to measure the strength of the market, initial move was down, which showed some promise for market pullback. But after bottoming close to 256, we had a first up bar, and then eventually we started to hold above 256 and a half, and it looked like this was going to get shaken off. But right at the end of the day, we ticked lower, and then this morning we come in consolidating against kind of the last couple of days lows below this 256 and a half. So under normal market conditions, I wouldn't even be bothering to bring this up, but this is such unusual market conditions in terms of the strength of the bid and the complete lack of pullbacks, and so you kind of have to adjust what you pay attention to. And so there's enough there, the lower high yesterday, that if we are consolidating below, let's say 256.40, and we take out that 256, you want to pay attention. What would a real pullback look like from these levels? Oh boy, it's be somewhere in this area probably. Something like down here. So that's what we'd look at. Decent little pullback, 2%. IWM. IWM and the SPYs made a new high at the end of last week. IWM did not. We know that we started talking about IWM a couple weeks ago when it started to show relative weakness to the large caps, the SPYs. 149.40 was the support over the prior few weeks before it kind of tried to roll over here. We're consolidating below that. So the longer we consolidate, say below 149.30, the better setup we have for a down move here. We had a breakout from 145. Stay here. We went from 145 to 147.80. So that's about $1 below where we are right now. If you get below this, inside of this range, in this trend day, squeeze day, that brings, you get a fast and furious move. Once you move inside of an area where the market moved very quickly, that can get erased very quickly. Now, we do have the next day after the big trend day, we pulled back to 146.80 before bouncing. So it's kind of this, once we get inside of this, the only spot is this here until you get right back down to the bottom of that move. Let's start with AMD. So AMD, people did not like the guidance, and this is one that's run a lot. And I think the chips have done okay, but the GPUs, the machine learning business, which caused NVIDIA to go from 30 to 200 or wherever it is, it's the same thing that was driving AMD from above $10. And so just go back, it was $2 stock and went to $7.50. The machine learning stuff is what caused it initially to go to 15. It came all the way back down to 10, went to 15 again, started to kind of work its way up there. And when the guidance came out yesterday, they didn't raise guidance. It doesn't seem like, even though they're in that space, which NVIDIA dominates, it's not really driving things much. Well, you can see that from all the big analysts, Goldman, some of the others, not good risk reward here. And so it got hammered. I got hammered to this support right here where they bought it in the after hours. This is kind of, the range we're working with for today potentially. Unless it breaks to the downside. I don't expect it to break back to the upside. So here was the initial, they spiked it up first, then there's the initial down move. 13, they spiked it up here on some misinterpretation of something that was said. Then consolidated below 1350 and came off what I consider pretty good support on the daily. It took that out, it looks like, after 5:30, 6 o'clock. I wasn't around when this happened, and then just closed above it. This morning, you can see, held it again. So this 1265 area is actually pretty big for support. wouldn't surprise, flipping it here to the long side, I was not wrong, I didn't think. It did break down below there in the after hours. 1250 would be the next natural support, and that's where it bottomed out in the after hours. So it got above 13 here in the pre-market. Ideally, you'd like them to bounce it to at least 1330 on the open. That would be your spot to fade it. Sell longs if you bought in the pre-market against this 1260. I'd be careful being long against 13. Obviously, it could fail right here and just go right down to support. So, but these are I'm just telling you, these are the prices I'm going to play it against. Here and here is my best prices, and up here, anything I do not at those prices will be much less size, much more careful, much more quick. The bigger trades are in the outside of the range I just outlined. The next one is WBA. So this is a stock that's been beaten down recently. So the psychology is probably not that great, and they had good. It was good there. They crushed the numbers by 8%. So here's the daily. So this might have been Amazon saying they were getting into the drugstore business. I'm not sure, but it was an $82 stock. Came off 20%. It's a big move. I think it came off this day here from 76 to, remember this catalyst, but certainly a move back up to here wouldn't be absurd. It's only at 70 right now. Obviously, if the market believes they are long-term damaged and they're never going to get back up to a good multiple because Amazon at some point is going to hand them their lunch, if that's the mindset right now, you won't get that much of a bounce above 70 to this area here. So we should be able to get an idea, though, from the first half hour what the buying and selling pressure looks like. So far, got up to 70. So right on the open, if it doesn't flush much through 70 here, then gets back above 70.30, let's call it, I'm just going to be focused on being long and seeing how much it moves higher. We'll go from there. Any types of consolidations below 70 and they break any type of key support from the open, I'm happy to play on the long side, on the short side, and mainly because the psychology is just still negative. Again, it's just an Amazon thing. Amazon went from years ago, people didn't really believe, they've lost money, whatever, and then it changed in the last couple of years that, they're going to put everyone out of business, which I don't buy into. Look at Best Buy, they sell electronics. People thought that was going to zero, went from 15 back up to 40, 50, whatever it went to. So that's the psychology right now. If Amazon announces they're going into your space, big haircut on your price. IRBT. So IRBT had an amazing run for a few years there, and now it's just a wild, big range. Sellers are in control here. It's gapping above $80 now. So 83 is in play. I'm going to put on for resistance in here. But 83, 85, that's right. This is 83 here. 83 prior support. Became resistance when it broke through. And 85, I guess, was this top of that range there. And this is wild. So it did touch that 83. People were, I guess, had some offers up there at the long-term resistance. And it came off $7. But, I mean, this is very bullish. It came right back up, and now it's holding above 80. Tough to be long it up here with 83 resistance right here. So for me, initial range for me to play is 80 to 83. If it's above 82 after the open, 10-30, and starts to move higher, above 83, I have 85. Just wild price action. Normally trades under 1 million shares. Could trade 5+ million shares today. Then ACHC, which is down over 20%. Stocks that are usually down over 20-25% can be a little bit wild. This is very controlled in the pre-market. Look at all the volume. It's done more than its daily volume already. Clearly sellers above 34.50. First time we got there, came back up. Sellers there. What do I have for levels here? 33.50, 32.80. So it's at first potential support. I don't remember where I got those levels from. Probably back a little bit in time. So okay to play it on the short side, closer to 35 here. 32.80 is the level that I would watch to see. If it flushes through there on the opening, gets back above 32.80, you can look for it to play it on the bounce. GM, I traded on the short side yesterday, mainly because we talked about it. It just went up 20-30% in the last month or two. And you can see Morgan Stanley came out and downgraded this morning. If you look at the price action yesterday, it popped to 46.70s, which was on the higher time frame was resistance. That worked. I was able to get off a pretty large position there. That's the main reason I was able to make money in it yesterday. Covered a lot into this, covered some more into this, and then held a little bit, got stopped out, I think, when it reversed here and then made a higher high here. It held a little bit. Morgan downgrades it. Let's see on the open, kind of, if they try to buy it and it fails 46.15 to 46.20 right here and it gets below 46, that'd probably be the short trade for a move down to 45. People are willing to sell on the Morgan downgrade. I guess certainly yesterday's intraday price action was not that weak. It bottomed here, matched the pre-market low on the open, then held higher, held higher, held higher. Looked like it was setting up to test the morning high for today, which would be a little bit tougher with the Morgan downgrade, I would think. Caterpillar, this one, this is why it's so important to, if something isn't your main focus like Caterpillar, to have like a script on. I thought we could talk in the morning meeting. Most likely thing was if it failed at 140 right in the open, get a quick down move to 138 and then kind of see. We got that. It came back up and was holding strong. I think people were long it. It was acting well. It was holding above 139 for like an hour. I don't know what this news was here, but something happened right here at 11 o'clock. And they crushed it down to 37. I'm impressed that it didn't trend down the rest of the day after that. So kind of broke out of that downtrend. And they were buying it here. So I guess the way I look at it today is 137.50. If it's below there, let's start to pay attention to it on the short side. And then yesterday's low. There's still, the call was still on. Okay, that makes sense because that's an unusual, I think they must have said something conservative about guidance. But people, it was, you know what though? It's the old Apple trick, right? They blow out the numbers by so much, and then they give conservative guidance, and people are like, "Sure, you're just trying to set yourself up for a good quarter next quarter." Pressure on steel prices would be good for them, unless it was upward pressure. So that's Caterpillar, YNDX. So YNDX was one I shorted right in the open. Here's the wick. That's the only reason I really made money in it. It came off a couple of dollars, but then they bought it here at 32. I didn't flip the long. Flip the long. Yeah, I mean, I could have flipped along there. So anyway, it's just trying to see what the key. There's a lot of support there at 31.70. Yeah, the way I look at this is 33 resistance yesterday. If it gets above 33, nibble on the long side. Then if it's holding above like 33.30, 33.50, I would play it or move back up to the highs. But be careful, it's a dangerous stock. And then if it fails at 32, you want to watch. If it takes out the support here, this is no good. Like below 31.70, 31.60, there's just a lot of air to $30. That's it. I didn't talk about OSTK intentionally. I just heard Shark talking about it to his guys. It's just look at the daily on it. It's one of these things where I will talk about it at some point. But anyway, they're getting involved. They actually accepted payment on Bitcoins years ago. If they had done an ICO offering, I mean, so anyway, it's just run from 15 to 40, and then some some news came out about them doing some ICO offering. It was 42 in the pre-market. I just have no way of judging if it's going to have the, put in alerts up here at like 44, 45, 46. If it goes that vertical today, that's probably will be the top, but let's see. Pre-market high, 42 and a half. Anyway, it's going to reverse hard at some point. I'm not sure if it's ready yet, or else I would have been talking about it earlier. As always, be patient and good luck.
Hope you enjoyed that video. You can actually watch that video if you're subscribed to our Trader 90 before the market even opens. What stocks are in play? What levels in those stocks are important? And how we might go about attacking that stock. That's Steve Spencer, 20-year veteran trader, laying it out there every morning before the market even opens. A really, really powerful tool to start your session off on the right foot. So right now we're offering a trial that you can take advantage of to access this meeting and other meetings throughout the day. We have a meeting at 11 a.m. Eastern where you can sit down with Mike Bellafiore and listen to him talk about what's going on during the morning session, what stocks were in play, what the best trade opportunities were, as well as maybe some things that we're looking at heading into the afternoon session. So I really encourage you to take advantage of that trial.